Another day with some pretty normal temperatures for this time of year. We have some rain in the southern part of our state. How long that rain will stick around and when we could see our next chance for some rain when I come back. We go into later on tonight. Much of the area that's getting a lot of the strongest parts of this storm are Garland and Plano, and it's actually generating at 3,425 megawatts of generation capacity. And we are the leading solar state.
A lot of rain at my place last night.
Yes, me too. I've been seeing a lot of different posts on social media with a lot of rain going on in the Metroplex, and this is because of this cold front we've been having. All these temperatures are being impacted by this rain, and that's because of the rain-cooled air that's starting to help us cool down these temperatures. Much of the area is for some rain. Some rain chances in the forecast, and I see that going into the weekend next week, even at the end of the work week, where we could see those rain chances and how long they'll stick around and when they will be showing up when I come back. A significant drop in our temperatures with some rain accompanied by that, when we could see that coming up. Well, we're seeing some pretty normal temperatures for this time of year, and I see this continuing on as we go into tomorrow, but much of the Metroplex is around the mid to high 90s, and this is due to this rain that we've been talking about the last couple of days. It's actually helped to cool our temperatures down, and we're not heating up extremely fast as we have been the last couple of weeks. Now, if we look at our breeze, it's showing that we have a breeze, a wind from the east to northeast, and this wind is helping to stabilize these temperatures and keep us pretty normal for this time of year. But as we go into our weekend, in typical Texas fashion, that's not going to stick around. Looking at Friday, we'll stay at 98, which is a degree above our normal temperature for this time of year. And as we go into our weekend, and into next week, we will see these triple digits returning and staying around until we start seeing basically slightly normal temperatures, what we should be seeing for this time of year. And if we look at our 6 to 10 day outlook, it's showing and signaling these below normal temperatures. So right now we are in this blue and gray area. That is signaling below normal temperatures, unlike our friends out to the west they're seeing this heat dome, this red heat dome signaling above normal temperatures. But just like these below normal temperatures that we will be having, there's actually a signal for some rain as we go into next week. So this is this light green area that you are seeing. This shows that we may have some rain chances in the forecast, and I see these rain chances basically hitting us around later in the week into next weekend. And how long that rain will stick around, I'll tell you when I come back.
6:04 p.m. and it's time for the weather update. Joining me, meteorologist Ryann Jones. What happened last night? We had a lot of rain.
Yes, we've been having a lot of rain for the last couple of days, and that's because of this cold front that's been pushing through, along with the daytime heating that's paired with it. I see this continuing on through the next week, and it may help with the drought that we're seeing, but I don't see it significantly changing our current conditions.
Well, that's sad, but hey, at a minimum,
we'll take anything.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're seeing some areas experiencing some strong thunderstorms this evening, and I don't see this extending into the morning hours, but these storms do have a potential to create some 45 to 50 mile per hour winds, as well as some brief heavy downbursts of some rain, but they will not turn severe. If we're looking at this storm, much of the area that's receiving the strongest part of this storm is to the east of DFW Airport, as well as to the west of DFW Airport as well. Now, if we take a closer look at this storm, the area that's receiving the heaviest parts of this rain are the Richardson and Garland areas. And I see the storm continuing to move southward as we go into this evening, but not much further than that. The rain will start to diminish as we go into the later hours. But the scattered showers will continue, as well as the triple digit heat returning as typical, but there is a potential for some rain chances as we go into next week and into next weekend. Now, if we look at tonight, much of the rain will stay pretty much east of the DFW area, and I see a lot of cloud coverage continuing as we go into the morning hours. If we are looking to see some activity, it will stay mainly out to the west in the Bowie and Wichita Falls area, but for the most part, we'll continue to see the cloud coverage, and that will help kind of cool down our temperatures. But for the most part, any type of activity we'll see will not be in the DFW area, but mainly out to the west of us. But you can see how our temperatures are being impacted by this rain, and that's due to this rain-cooled air that's helping us cool down and actually keeping us around the mid-70s, with DFW at 77, Fort Worth 78, even Palestine out to 73. And again, these are some pretty cool temperatures that we are seeing due to this rain-cooled air. But of course, they won't stay for long. For the weekend, we'll stay pretty much at 97 and 98 Saturday and Sunday, and we'll start to increase our temperatures at the century mark next week as we go into our work week. But there is a chance for some rain on Friday and Saturday, and this is the rain that I was mentioning that will keep us around our normal temperatures for this time of year, and we'll continue to see that rain and monitor that as we go into next week. A significant drop in our temperatures accompanied by some rain throughout the next couple of weeks. How long it'll stick around and if it'll help our drought conditions when I come back. Now, recently, there's been a lot of talk about ERCOT, or the Texas grid, and why it's asking Texas residents to conserve their energy, as well as these blackouts becoming more frequent as we go into the summer. Well, to understand why this is happening, it's important to look at what the grid is consisting of and why, when it's not operating proficiently, we could have these blackouts more frequently. And when we're looking at renewable energy, about 23% of the grid is being made up of wind power. So these wind turbines, when they're operating at proficient speeds, or the optimal wind speed of 8 to 31 miles per hour, that's when we could see the most efficient wind energy being produced. Now, it's operating at 38,000 megawatts of generation capacity. And one thing to note, we are actually producing about 1/4 of the total U.S. capacity for wind power. So if we look at the entire U.S., about 1/4 of that is coming from Texas. But that's not the only thing that makes up the renewable energy that we are seeing. We also have to look at solar power. Now, solar power is not making up as much as wind energy when we look at the Texas grid, but it is making up about 2% of that grid. That's my bad. And it's actually generating at 3,425 megawatts of generation capacity. And we are the leading solar state right now, above the Sunshine State, Florida, and even California. So we are producing the most energy, and we're actually the leading state in solar energy as well. But let's take a closer look at what the grid is actually consisting of. What is making up our grid? What's the most that we're getting from the energy that we're seeing? Well, about 43%, a vast majority of the grid, is the natural gas, as well as coming in second. This is the wind energy I'm talking about. This is at 23%, and there's a small slither for that 2% of solar. Now, it's making up about 1/4, 25%, with renewable energy of the entire grid. I see this start to increase as we go into a couple of years from now, and we're finding more leading edge or cutting edge ways to make renewable energy more a part of our society. Now, if we're not having a lot of wind, if we're not operating at optimal wind speed, as well as having a lot of cloud coverage, this could consist of why we're seeing these blackouts and why we're not operating proficiently in the Texas grid.